Peter was introduced to his future wife by a college buddy. When he first laid eyes on Emery, she didn't leave much of an impression. But after a chance meeting at an event, she revealed a different side to him. Emery turned out to be an avid reader and a sensitive soul. Peter liked how she stood out from all the other girls he'd known. Without much thought, he proposed to her in the heat of the moment, offering her a ring, his hand, and his heart without hesitation. Emery agreed, having waited for this move from day one. The celebration was modest and cozy. For a long time, the couple would look through their wedding photos, marveling at how beautiful their day was. Before the wedding, Emery introduced her future husband to all her relatives, including Kingston, saying she couldn't remember how exactly they were related. Her mom called him son, and Peter had no doubts about the familial ties between his future wife and this man. Emery loved Kingston dearly. He was like a friend to her. They'd go to cafes, shop, and do yoga together. Peter wasn't thrilled about his beloved spending so much time with another man. He couldn't understand why only Emery and Kingston had such a strong bond, especially since her two other sisters openly disliked the man and would trade barbs with him. Sometimes, his wife would talk about her relative for hours, sharing how they did this or that together or reminiscing about childhood moments. Midway through her stories, after hearing Kingston's name for the 100th time, Peter would start to boil and throw in some sarcastic comments. "Not dumb, he's just Kingston," his wife would smile when she saw her husband state. "Maybe just to you, but I don't like it, and that's my opinion," Peter would retort. Emery repeatedly explained how their warm friendship had formed. Over and over, she recounted the story of their childhood when her mom took her cousin's son under her wing, while she worked 2 jobs to feed the family. Back then, they grew close. Emery's sisters weren't born yet, and Kingston became her only friend and support. It so happened that Peter was swamped at work. There was a fire in the area he was responsible for, and everything needed to be urgently restored to get back to work. All his energy was focused there, leaving no time for family. He'd see his wife in the morning when he left and at night when he returned. Emery would already be in her 10th dream. "What's with the 2 glasses here? Who'd you drink with?" he asked one morning, coming into the kitchen. Kingston came over. "We celebrated his new position," Emery smiled. "He got promoted. Can you believe it?" Peter started to boil again. He was so tired of hearing about this man, not being able to give his beloved the time she needed. He was somewhat grateful to Kingston for keeping her company. When a colleague first heard about Peter's wife's close relationship with Kingston, his face changed, and he carefully asked if Peter was sure nothing was going on between them. Peter flared up, feeling it would be more than just cheating. It would be something utterly disgusting. But his colleague's words planted a seed of doubt that grew day by day. He started pondering this, even reading a few psychologists' articles on family relations. It made him sick, and every time he felt a lump in his throat. One day, he found a pair of men's underwear and lost it. Peter was furious and shocked, so he immediately approached his wife to find out what was going on. She explained, as always with the same excuse. "Kingston's washing machine broke. He asked to do his laundry here. I thought I returned everything to him. These must have been misplaced." "Emery, what's happening?" Peter exclaimed. "Don't you find your relationship odd? I don't like it. I've told you before, but doing his laundry crosses all conceivable boundaries." "What was I supposed to say no?" she shouted back. "He's my relative. I have to help him." That evening, they had a huge fight, and for the first time in years, slept in different beds, she in their bed, he on the couch. Peter, not used to this, tossed and turned all night without sleep, and in the morning, woke up feeling terrible with a pounding head. Emery made him coffee as a peace offering. But that night, the seed of doubt sprouted its first shoot in Peter. Finally, Peter had his first day at work where he didn't have to stay late and could come home early. For 3 months, he'd been working non-stop under constant pressure and fights with his boss. He decided to surprise Emery, buying her favorite pastries and flowers. Rushing home, he knew his wife had a day off and wasn't planning to go anywhere. As he neared home, he saw Kingston's car in the parking lot. His mood plummeted. No cozy evening together. They had a guest. Upset, he headed up to the apartment, which was unlocked. Inside, it was quiet. Peter closed the door as quietly as he could and listened. He heard a faint creak from the bedroom. Dropping his things, he nearly flew across the apartment to their bedroom door, flinging it open to a sight that made him want to vomit. On the bed lay Kingston, with Emery on top of him. Recovering from the shock, Peter lunged at them, pushing Emery off, causing her to fall and cry out as she hit the floor. He started beating Kingston with all his might, cursing them both. A black eye began to form under Kingston's eye, and blood trickled from his split lip. Peter didn't regret a thing. He'd long wanted to hit this smug guy his wife couldn't stop talking about. And finally, his wish was fulfilled. Kingston, as Emery's lover, was a pitiful sight. The next day, Peter told Emery's parents what had happened. He made a special trip to personally deliver the terrible news. The elderly couple was as shocked as he was. Emery's mom burst into tears, saying she couldn't face her relatives anymore, while her dad sympathetically patted Peter on the shoulder. They understood something extraordinary had happened. They forbade Emery from returning home. Her parents couldn't bear the disgrace, and she had to move in with Kingston. But their cohabitation lasted only a couple of years before he announced he was marrying someone else, and she needed to leave. It was a tough year of moving between rentals and looking for a better job. Emery didn't regret divorcing Peter, but she deeply mourned the lost connection with her lover. Left alone, without friends or family, she didn't know where to start to move forward.